it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to repot these two Phalaenopsis that I got recently. They are the Phalaenopsis Violacea, variation Indigo, crossed with sibling. And we've got another Phalaenopsis. This one is a Phalaenopsis Bellina, platinum, crossed with Phalaenopsis Bellina red star. So we're going to repot them. I have ready to go. I've got my tray here. I've got some fresh sphagnum moss. I've got my hydrogen peroxide in case there's any pests. And I have my alcohol to sterilize my cutting tools. So we'll get started with the Phalaenopsis Violacea. So let's see what we're dealing with here. It's like on an angle. So this doesn't look like it has very many roots. Everything is sort of stayed here. So there's not much that I should put away. Let me clear this up. All right, so I rinsed this orchid off. It doesn't have too many roots. I've also sprayed it down with some hydrogen peroxide. It's a small orchid. This leaf is gonna fall off soon, but I'll just let it fall off on its own. We'll cut off some, oh, that root is dead. We'll cut off some of these dead roots. It'll, it's a young orchid. I was hoping to see more roots, but I'll put it in a self-watering container with sphagnum moss, and it should do just fine. Oh, that orchid fell off and I didn't even have to cut it. Look at that. So these are more of the novelty type Phalaenopsis, and these orchids like more moisture. So I'm gonna pot them in sphagnum moss for that reason. Some folks like to pot them in bark or a mixture of sphagnum moss and bark, but this one likes to be kept consistently moist. And you know what? It's got some new root tips, so that's not bad. It'll probably establish just fine, despite not having a very extensive root system. Anyhow, we've got a self-watering pot here. What I did was I took a clear frosted pot and I put the wick through the bottom. This is a 4-inch pot, and the self-watering container is also 4 inches, and it fit perfectly, giving me enough room to have a reservoir on the bottom. So I like this setup because it's very easy to deal with. I'm going to put in a little bit of sphagnum moss on the bottom. And you guys know the drill with the sphagnum moss. Keep it nice and airy as we're putting it in here. We're going to put a good amount on the bottom, just given that there's not many roots to work with. So we'll keep it nice and fluffy. And then we could put our Phalaenopsis Violacea in. Okay, I think that's good enough. So we're like 3/4 of the way up. We're gonna put this Phalaenopsis Violacea in here, and then we are going to work around it. So putting the sphagnum moss around, not making it too tight. And I will fast forward from here. So I think this is good. So it's not in too tight. I'm gonna top it off with a little bark. When watering, I just have to be very careful with the crown. We don't want any water to hit that, the crown in the middle. But this one is good to go. I'll top it off with bark at the end and we'll be done. Let's see what we're dealing with here with the Phalaenopsis Bellina. I have a feeling it's going to be the same sort of thing. Yeah, not too many roots. Most of the medium is here. Let me go clear this out and I'll come right back. Okay, not too many roots, but we have a couple of longer ones than the other one. I'm trying to see if I want to cut some of these off. I feel like they're okay. Oh, that came off on its own in the middle. Yeah, I'm going to cut off these the little tiny one here. Okay. I like that we have a couple of new roots, one right there. And it looks like this one is branching off also, which is great. But we will do the same thing. We'll put it in sphagnum moss within our self-watering setup. And we'll do the same exact thing, keeping it nice and fluffy. Put the sphagnum moss in here. So I believe these are 1 year from blooming. One of them was blooming size, I think. I will put it in the video. One of them is supposed to stay really small. The other one is supposed to be 1 year from blooming. I don't remember right now which one is which, but I will share. But these are great for my grow shelves because it's so, they're so like tiny. Actually, take some of these off. Okay, take a little bit of that off. And then we will put in the orchid. Let's put these roots right in there so that they can establish. Okay. I'll fast forward here while I accommodate this orchid. I'm gonna try to tuck this root in to anchor it a little bit. It's a little, goes up a little, because this orchid doesn't have too many roots. So I wanna make sure that it's a little stable as it's in here while the roots grow in. Put a little more moss. And I think that's it. So I'm gonna top this off with bark and I'll be good to go. Okay, my orchids are all set. They will require more moisture than some of my other phals. I just need to be very careful when watering this one, making sure that I don't get water in the crown. I'll likely water it from the bottom in this self-watering pot to avoid the top while it grows out another leaf. But otherwise, I'm happy with how these came out and I'm good to go. Well, thank you guys for watching and I'll catch you next time. Bye.